5. Ah, man, look, there is this very disturbing, if I could be honest, it's a disturbing verse. But I think it may contribute to why some of our fires burned out. It may contribute to why we aren't doing what we can or what we could, or why we just, just kind of live life real mundane and ordinary and not really walk in purpose. Hey, good morning, Tamanika. So let me read it. And then we can talk about it, because it's troubling. It's troubling to me that Jeremiah had to write it and God had to say it. But it's even more troubling that we might be living it out, right? Because today I want to talk about this passion, this pursuit, this stoking the embers for you. Is this something you're supposed to be doing? Should you be fired from what you are pursuing, or are you actually on fire for what you are pursuing? That's what we want to talk about. I want to explore that. Should you be fired from what you're doing because you're doing a whole lot of stuff to no avail, right? Haggai says you eat, but you're still hungry. You drink, but you're still thirsty. You put on a coat, but you're still warm. You're still cold. You make money, but it's like putting it in a pocket that has a hole in it. And I think sometimes we just, we're active but not productive. Active but not productive. And so here's Jeremiah 19:5. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Thumbs up. Let me get a thumbs up if you're ready, because I want to make sure. I want you to ask me for this one, because this one not as easy as some of the other ones were. The other ones were kind of motivational. This one is going to challenge us to really consider and think about where we are. Can I get a thumbs up? I got 2 sad faces. Let me get 1 thumb up. Okay, Facebook, I see. Here we go. Jeremiah 19:5. Actually, let me do 4 and 5. I'm gonna do 4 and 5. Jeremiah 19, 4 and 5. Because they have forsaken me and estranged this place, and have burned incense into other gods that they knew not, they and their fathers and the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocence. Here's the part. And have built the high places of Baal, to burn their sons in the fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. One more time. They have built high places for Baal, to burn their sons in the fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. All right, so let me summarize. Here's the thing. God said, look, you guys been burning. Here's what he says to them. He says, you guys have literally been taking your kids, your sons, you've been throwing them in the fire, you've been burning them up, and you've been sacrificing them in a fire to this other god named Baal, right? It's essentially, he's saying, look, you've been on fire for something, right? That's the part. You have been on fire for something. You have been putting your time in something. You've been putting your money in something. You've been spending all your energy into something. And then he goes in this way, he says, but what you burning for, I didn't command it, I didn't speak it, nor was it even in my mind for you to do. Isn't that crazy? Listen, here's what he's saying. He's saying you already on fire. The reason he wants you to stoke your embers and get back your passion and pursuit, he's saying it's not that you weren't even on fire, it's that you are on fire. You just been on fire for something that he didn't want you on fire for. He said you have been passionate. You've been passionate about something, but what you may have been passionate about may not have been what God wanted you to be passionate about. And so it appears that your flame has somehow fizzled for God because you've been passionate about something that was not God. He said you have been pursuing something. You've been chasing after. You've been running after. You've been going for something. But what you've been going after wasn't what I wanted you to go after. Oh, man. Phew. What to do with that? That's what he's saying. And it's interesting because he's saying you have been successful. Here it is. You have been successful at being on fire, and you're still not burning for me. I really want these mornings to be motivational. So here's the positive to it, because there's always good news, right? God always has good news. So the challenge for us today in application is to really think about what is it that we are investing our money in, spending our time on, trying to develop, trying to build, right? You want to check that. Here's the good. Here's the positive. Here's the good part. He says, what you're doing is not what I commanded. It's not what I spoke, and it did not come to my mind. Which means there is something he has commanded. There is something he is speaking, and there is something that is on his mind. You are on his mind. So Ms. Sharon said, what do we do with that? Now we start asking questions like, okay, God, What is it that you have for me? That's what Jeremiah is really trying to do. He's trying to get them back in a place where they are at least talking to God about their passion, that they are considering what he may be thinking about. God says this crazy thing. He says, I know the thoughts I'm thinking towards you, says the Lord. Thoughts of hope and thoughts of future. He says things like, before the foundations of the earth were laid, I already knew you. So God is not necessarily abandoning you because you're on fire for something else. He's just simply asking, can we talk about it? Right? Can we talk about whether you should be pursuing him or her as hard as you are and eliminating me? Can we at least discuss? If you're supposed to be in upper management in that place, or if there was some other place, can we discuss that big ministry idea you had, that even though it's going to help a lot of people, that it may or may not have been the thing I wanted you to do? God is, listen. Look, he wants you on fire. I want you on fire. We want you on fire. We need you on fire, but we don't want you burning up the wrong things. I was actually just watching a TV show yesterday. I was traveling, and I'm watching this TV series called The Blackness. And The Blacklist are all these high crime guys. And there's this one guy, strangely enough, I promise, I just watched it last night. I'll give you the episode. I think I'm in season 5. And he's actually a priest. And what the priest was doing is the priest, whenever he was approached by a woman, he would later kidnap her and set her on fire. And here's why. His claim was that the women he was meeting were seducing him and tempting him, causing him to be a sinner, so he would light them on fire. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that he somehow turned his own lack of strength, his own weakness, into their problem? Then he punished them for something he couldn't handle. I wonder if we do that. I wonder if we kind of box God in to doing something that he really had no intention of doing. You guys know, in Bible studies I've done before, I often talk about how God will cover us because we're his kids, right? He does that. He covers us because he's there was this time where who was it? Peter told some people that Jesus paid taxes. Jesus like, I don't pay taxes. He's like, I'm way above taxes, but because you told them I pay taxes, go down to the water, grab a fish. There's some coins in the mouth of the fish. Go pay the taxes. Now, it's not what I do, but because you said it, I got to cover you, so I'll do it, right? So sometimes God will let us live out some of these passions we're pursuing, even though they're not the ones he wants us to pursue. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's what we're supposed to do. So today, I'm just asking you to ask God, hey, is this what I'm supposed to be pursuing? The children of Israel wanted a king, and God said, you don't want a king. I don't want to give you a king. But they kept asking, so he said, you know what? Bring me a guy, I'll bless him. So they anointed Saul as king, but he didn't do well. Matter of fact, everything negative God said he would do, he did. And then they had to replace Saul with David. Why? Because God will sometimes give us the very things that we ask for, even if it's not what we're supposed to have. What he really values is a relationship with him, whereby we will at least talk to him about our passions. And it is blowing my mind that right now, they're burning something. They are on fire, but it's not for the thing that God commanded, not for the thing God spoke, and not for the thing that God had in his mind. Hey, Rolinda, good morning. So, if I could I ask you to think about it? Could I ask you to think not about if you're on fire, think about what you're on fire for. What are the things you're passionate about? Right? I'm going to this men's conference next week, and one of the things that I'm kind of working through, that God has placed in my heart to talk about, is how passionate we can be as men about things other than Christ, right? Our cars, adamant about those. Our football teams, adamant about those. For some men, it's how debonair they are, making sure the suit, shoes, and belt match, adamant about that. Parents, rightfully so, adamant about your children, right? I get it. I'm not saying you shouldn't be. All I'm saying is that's our thing. What is it that you are on fire for? And then after you figure out what you are on fire for, the second question you got to ask yourself is this what God would want? Matter of fact, here's how you know. How does this give God glory? How does this make God look better? How does this present God to other people? And if you can figure that out, then I really believe that we won't be burning fires for Baal, but we'll be burning fire for God. Stoke the embers. Look, let me apologize for this bad video. this bad video. What is this? The I don't know. What is the video? The way it's looking? I don't know. I'm gonna try to get my other camera back up and working. But you know, whenever I'm out of town, it don't quite work the way we planned it to. However, God always works the way we plan, and so I want you guys to be open to that. Jeremiah 19:5. Go read it for yourself. I think all of us have fire. Matter of fact, let me just say that there is fire and passion for everyone. I'm not sure if you found it yet, but there is something for everyone. God, I thank you again for the day. I pray God now that you just keep us in your will. I know that there is perfect will, there is permissive will, and while we didn't go into detail, God, what we really want from you is your perfect will. Lead us and guide us along this way. If it goes through the valley of shadows of death, it may be scary, but God, we trust you. And so now, now God, just make sure we're burning in a way that will bless us, not just on fire. And if we are, God, fire us, right? Expire that so that we can be with you.